Hey everyone, this is Pooka back with another video, and recently people have requested that I post some of the deck list or do a video on some of my bad decks, and I figured why not. I mean, these are just kind of fun decks. They're not too competitive, but they're a lot of fun to play, and I figured might as well just go through them with you, so maybe you guys can share in the fun. So the first one I'm going to do is the Flipz deck that I've used quite a bit on stream. We're just going to go through it and see what makes this deck tick. So, the first thing you'll notice is Victini. The Victory Star ability lets you reflip. This deck is all about flipping coins. So, what you want to do is get this into play so that it improves your odds of successfully using your attacks. You get to reflip if you don't get the desired effect. You can't use more than one Victory Star, but it lets you get one more shot at flipping your coins. So, there's 2 Victini in this deck. You could consider running 3. I only have 2 on PTCGO, but another reason I only run 2 is that I also run the V-Blast Victini. So I have 2 of these. You can only have 4 Victinis in your deck total. So I have 2 of these and 2 of the Victory Star ones. V-Blast is going to be what you're going to want to do early on in the game. For just 1 energy, if you flip 2 coins, you can do 120 damage. This attack is actually pretty underrated, I feel. Obviously, it's very risky. You know, you got to flip 2 coins. You need double heads to actually do anything, but 120 damage for 1 energy is really good. I mean, you can knock out a Mewtwo EX in 1 hit. Just to give you an idea, you can knock out a Mewtwo EX on the first turn with V-Blast. So it's very powerful to have this at your disposal. You can also just knock out normal things on the first turn. Overall, Victini is going to be your early game attacker. You know, turn 1, turn 2, you're just going to want to use V-Blast. And that's why it's in this deck. It's a cheap attacker, it can do a ton of damage, and that's why it's here. We also have Emolga, which is just kind of an alternate attacker. It's got free retreat, so it's a good starter. You can retreat to anything you want. It's here for acrobatics. It can knock out like a Swablu or pretty much anything weak to lightning you can put a good hit on. And it also has Thunder Shock. So Emolga is not really a necessary card, but it's here, and it can have its uses sometimes. Otherwise, we have Chansey, which is kind of like the Hail Mary. If nothing else is going right, you can always continuous tumble. I mean, you keep flipping until you get tails. 30 damage to the number of heads. I have knocked out many large Pokemon with this. I have knocked out a Garchomp by flipping 6 heads. So, anything is possible with Chansey. It's just kind of one of those, you're backed into a corner and you're like, I got no other options. Alright, continuous tumble time. So, Chansey is here. I mean, you can't have a Flipz deck without this. But the focus of the deck is going to be Gothitelle. We have the Doom Decree Gothitelle, not the Magic Room one. So it's just flip 2 coins. If both of them are heads, you knock out the defending Pokemon. No strings attached. Well, besides having to flip 2 heads, but you instantly knock out the defending Pokemon. So, Darkrai, gone. Mewtwo, gone. Registeel, gone. Tynamo, gone. Everything. You just knock something out if you flip 2 heads. So this can be very powerful. If you can knock out an EX with this, you're taking 2 prizes for 2 energy. That's it. Obviously, this is a risky attack because you have to flip 2 coins, but that's what the deck is all about, flipping coins. If you flip heads, you win. If you don't, you just shake your head as you get destroyed. So Doom Decree is really the focus of this deck, and that's all there is to it. I mean, you get Gothitelle out later on in the game, you start to Doom Decree. Early in the game, you can use Victini to try to take some prizes, but you usually want to finish off with Doom Decree if possible. So I run a 3-1-3 Gothitelle line with some rare candies, but we'll get to the trainers next. That's just kind of the heart and soul of the deck. But your main attacker is usually going to be Mew EX, because it has the versatile ability. It lets you use any attack in play. So if you just start with Mew, you can use anything. Just whatever's on your bench, whatever's even on your opponent's field, you can use. So usually you'll start off the game either using V-Blast with Victini, or you can use Mew to copy Victini's V-Blast, and really start putting the hurt on your opponent as soon as possible. And then once you get a Gothitelle out, you can just start using Doom Decree with Mew. So Mew EX, I run 3 of these as well, but I would probably run 4 if I had them. I only have 3 on PTCGO, but 3 seems to work out well. And I don't know if I would add a 4th, but probably, just because it's a good starter in this deck because it could copy all of your other attacks. So that is the Pokemon section. We'll move on to the trainers. We have 3 level balls. Just searching out Victinis is important. You need to do that as soon as possible to get your Victory Star Victini into play. And you can get you Gothita as well, and Emolga if you really need it, and Gothorita too. So level ball is pretty good. You run 3 of those just to help you set up. Then we have 3 plus power in the deck. This is really just meant to get surprise knockouts. I mean, if you can play a plus power and catch your opponent off guard, maybe attack with an Emolga or something like that, you can get some weird knockouts. So there's 3 plus power. This card isn't really necessary in the deck, but I find that it's very fun, so I run it. So there's 3 of those, and there's 4 random receiver. So in this deck, I run 4 random receiver, then 4 N, and then 4 Professor Juniper as well. Now, in most decks, you would just run more supporters, but here I'm thinking, alright, my deck doesn't really have a very powerful late game. I mean, I can do an initial burst of damage with V-Blast, and then maybe start to Doom Decree, but it really doesn't take much to set up. So what I'm trying to do is explode on the first turn. This means I'm running 4 random receiver, 4 N, 4 Juniper, because these are the strongest draw cards in the format. Bianca and Charon clearly are inferior to these 2 supporters, so I want to draw as many cards as I can, and that means N and Juniper are the only supporters for me. So I just want to draw into Victinis early on and try to V-Blast on the first turn. That's my thinking behind the 4 random receiver, 4 N, 4 Juniper. In other decks, you would be better off running Bianca or even Charon because you have like a long-term goal. In this deck, you really don't. You just try to flip coins. Then there's 3 rare candy, just to help get Gothitelle into play. You just evolve from Gothita up to Gothitelle. You skip the stage 1. So there's 3 of these. You might consider running 4, but I find 3 works just well. And then there's a Super Rod, just in case your Victinis get knocked out, because people do target those down. They realize, oh, I don't want to let you reflip, so I'm going to knock out that Victory Star Victini. So this can help you shuffle in those little guys. And also Victini has 60 hit points, so it's an easy target. Then we have 3 switch, which is what I'm trying to get to. This just helps you attack with the correct thing on the first turn. So if you start with like a Chansey, or a Gothita, or a Victini, the Victory Star one, you want to be able to switch into the right attacker, and be able to V-Blast on the first turn if possible. So that's why there's 3 switch in here, it just helps you out. It also is why the Sky Arrow Bridge is in here. This is pretty much the same thing as switch in this deck, just kind of stays out there for the whole game. It doesn't give Chansey or your evolutions free retreat, but everything else it does. Then there's 4 Ultra Ball, which are pretty standard. I mean, you run these in pretty much every deck. You get to search for whatever Pokemon you need, so there's 4 Ultra Ball. And then I have 2 EXP share in here as well, because sometimes you just run low on energy attachments. Your Pokemon are very fragile. Like a Mew EX only has 120 hit points. For an EX, that's pretty bad. And you're all weak to Psychic, so Mewtwo can be some trouble. So sometimes you just have EXP share to kind of retain your energy in play, to let you use Doom Decree. It does take 2 energy, so that's why the EXP share is here. They aren't crucial to the strategy, but sometimes they will come in handy. So that's going to wrap up the trainer section. Get a good look at all of those again. And then for the energy, pretty straightforward. I mean, we have 7 Psychic Energy, which apparently I don't own. But 7 Psychic Energy. Just Psychic is the main type of the deck. It lets you use V-Blast, lets you use Doom Decree, and pretty much every Pokemon uses it. So these are your main energy. You also have some double colorless in here. I run 2 of those for Chansey's Continuous Tumble. You can also use Black Magic on Gothitelle sometimes, so that's something else you can use it for. Or just in general, 2 energy is pretty good. And then we run Prism as well, 3 of those, just to give yourself more options to attack with the Mew EX. Maybe you can copy some funky things, like even Emolga's Thunder Shock to paralyze someone. So there's some Prism in here as well. And that's the energy, nothing too complicated there. Just 12 energy. So that's going to wrap up this deck. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I encourage you to build this deck if you can. Have some fun with it, and start flipping some coins. It's a fun deck to play. It can be very frustrating at times if you just keep flipping tails, but if you ever flip heads, it's worth it. Trust me, it's a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm Pooka here from the Top Cut. I'll have some more videos up soon of some more bad deck breakdowns, and stay tuned for those. That's really all I got for now, so I'll see you guys next time.